Hello again, everybody. Scott Casper, Takedown Media. We cover the sport coast to coast, border to border. We stopped this week in Ames, Iowa, home of the mighty Cyclones of Iowa State. Coach Kevin Jackson joins us. Coach, good morning. How are you?
Good, Scott. It's always great to see you. Always great to be a part of your program.
Well, thank you very much. We've got a lot of things to cover today. Let's start with the addition of Paulson and Escobedo to your staff. Travis and Trent Paulson, the names, of course, have been associated and affiliated with Iowa State Wrestling, but you've elevated at least one of the Paulsons and brought in an Escobedo. Talk a bit about the staff and its evolution.
Well, we're happy with the guys we have on our staff. I know our team is extremely happy with the guys we have on staff. I really took our athletes, what they've been through over the last 4 years, 5 years into consideration when you think about the coaches that we've gone through over the last few years, coaches that have gone on to become head coaches at other universities. And so that senior class of the Morenos and Gatsons and even Tanner Weatherman, the junior, and Luke Ghetto, they've seen some change. And we wanted to stay consistent this year. We think we have a strong group of guys that are ready to take that step. So I wanted to stay as consistent as possible. Also, Trent, he knows our system. He's been around the guys. The guys love him. His passion, his energy, is his desire to be the very best coach he can, and also help these guys win. Made the decision easy. So we're extremely happy to have Trent on staff, and he continues to do a great job for us.
Now, he and Escobedo both bring impressive resumes to your staff, including international competition. You see that as a big benefit?
I really do. I look at our staff, and I think we're probably the only staff that has 4 former world team members on it. I think a lot of the kids that are your top kids in the country that want to wrestle Division I want to go on to be World Olympic champions. At least that's what I've come to find out is they have that goal already prior to getting on campus, that they want a program that has more of an 8-year plan as opposed to just a 4 or 5-year plan. So bringing Escobedo in here, staying currently active. I really am impressed with his work ethic, his skill level. And I think with the exception of some injuries that he's had to deal with, I really look at him as really being a great chance to make this next world team, the Olympic team, and show America proud. But he's coming here with a strong attitude from a training standpoint, works out pretty much every day with the guys. And then, he brought something special from a coaching standpoint. I didn't think that he'd fall in line as quick as he's fallen in line as far as just the motivation, talking to the kids the right way, bringing the same message that we've brought to the kids over the last few years, and really bought all the way into what we're trying to accomplish here. And he's been a great asset and benefit to our program to this point.
You look at what he accomplished as a collegiate wrestler with 137 victories as a Hoosier at Indiana, and on top of that, or within that anyway, a national title back in 2008 at 125. I got to believe he relates to these kids and is a pretty positive role model.
He really is. I mean, he really is. He's been around a little bit. He's seen a few different programs. He's trained with a lot of different people. And I tell you what, he's a worker. He's a straight worker. Outside the wrestling room and especially in the wrestling room, where I got to slow him down a little bit as a senior level athlete. I think you got to train, smarter than harder. And he trains plenty hard. So we're excited about what he can do on the senior circuit. In our room, it's just another great technical mind, another guy in the room that's going to share his experiences of being on world teams and winning NCAA championships to help these guys become what they want to become.
With the addition of Paulson and Escobedo, your staff now has this to its credit. You ready?
Yep.
Olympic gold medal, 2 world gold medals, 8 world team members, 17 national team spots, 5 U.S. Open titles, 2 NCAA titles, and 14 NCAA All-American accolades. That's not bad. I mean, these are the pieces that it takes to move a program.
Well, we're happy with with our athletic accomplishments. Also, we've coached a few people. I think you've been around me long enough where I've coached a few Olympic champions, a few world champions, a few world team members. Not too many guys in the country that I haven't had an impact on. if they were a top-level wrestler over the last 20 years. So we can coach a little bit, too, and that's what we're going to try to continue to do. We got a big step to take this year. I think we've shown signs of the direction that the program's going in, but it's time to make that strong step and take the lead of where Iowa State is supposed to be, and that's our expectations. But it's on the guys now. We have a group of seniors, 3 seniors that have been through 5 years that are ready to lead the team, and so everybody needs to follow. We need to have Tanner Weatherman step up to what he's capable of doing. We need Earl Hall to take that next step. We need John Meeks to step back in the lineup and do what he's supposed to do. We also have strong guys behind those guys that are pushing him, and so we're in a pretty good situation, and we're only getting better with the additions that we're making to our program.
You had a decent recruiting class, Coach. Let's talk a little bit about some of the boys that have just hit campus. We'll start with Nathan Boston out of Versailles, Kentucky, a Woodford County kid.
Well, I think we've had a great recruiting class. I mean, I'm more impressed with these guys since they've hit campus than when I signed them. 3 out of the 6 were in our summer bridge program. Nathan Boston, Marcus Harrington, and Logan Breitenbach were in our summer bridge program. So we got a chance to spend a ton of time with them. Logan went on to become an All-American for Maryland, and Marcus Harrington became the first national champion for the state of Iowa in the last couple of years. And so we spent all summer with those guys, training them, coaching them up, and also them taking 6 credit hours to get them ahead of schedule. Nice. This Boston is pretty talented. I mean, he's pretty talented. I think he's had some great coaching growing up from a kid to where he's at now. He spent a ton of time with All-Americans, national champions. So I think he's really gained a ton of experience and knowledge from the coaches that he's had in the past. His dad trained him like an animal when he was his whole life. I mean, 10-mile runs to everything and whatever you can think of. He's done from a training standpoint. So he's a tough kid. So he stepped into our room and he competes really well right off the bat. We just got to improve in a couple areas. But I'm happy with all our guys. You talk about Rodriguez, Spencer, Ronaldo. Just gifted. I mean, that's all I can say about him. And he's gifted, and he's a worker. Talent only gets you so far, and this guy is very, very talented. But what I like about him most is he's a straight worker. He's a grinder, and he's seeing things and feeling things and learning things for the first time. And he'll tell you that, Coach, I've never done this before. Coach, I've never seen that technique before, and he's had great success. Without a whole lot of probably experience. I know his dad, Todd, did a great job with him, and he's going to continue to improve and get better. But that whole group from Boston to Harrington, Dante Rodriguez, a World Team member, Greco, for Fila Junior World Team Greco guy. We called him on the back end from Nebraska, 3-time state champion. Just a tough kid that's going to add to our program. And then we rounded it out with Ryan Schulman, a 3-time state champion out of North Dakota, who's just a tough-nosed, hard-nosed kid. His dad wrestled here at Iowa State, and he's joined our program kind of late in the process as well. So we're excited about the guys we brought in, and we think they're going to do some special things for Iowa State.
There's some great gems out of South Dakota, but you look at this this new staff of youngsters that have come in, and they are from Nebraska, they're from New York, they're from South Dakota. They're from Belmont Platteville. They're from Waterloo, Iowa. And I've got one more. Red Oak, Iowa. I think Jesse Doyle is from Trinity, North Carolina, Wheatmore. Logan Breitenbach is from Archbishop Spalding. You talked a little bit about him in Annapolis, Maryland. There's some very talented kids, and it just shows how deep and how wide you're casting the net as to where you're looking and how and the kind of kids you're going after.
Well, we have kids on our team from Hawaii to California to New York, and we're happy with that. I mean, we have our name tags up in our locker room, so when recruits come in, that they can see we have kids from all over the country. It just allows these kids to bond a little bit more, especially the ones that are out of state. We're still, the majority of our team are Iowa kids. We're still trying to get the best kids out of the state of Iowa as well. But you got to cast that big net out there. There's several programs that are casting that big net out there, but there's quite a few good wrestlers out there as well. So, we're looking for the very best kid in the country. that wants to be a part of Iowa State's program. And if he's in Hawaii, if he's in New York, if he's in Virginia, no matter where he's at, we want to get him here. And we have done a good job of getting kids from all over the country.
There's some kids in particular that have been on the team that obviously I want to talk a little bit about. We start with Gatson, 97-pound redshirt senior out of Waterloo. Early on, he had some shoulder issues. Last year, he had, I think, an outstanding year. Didn't finish perhaps the way he wanted to finish. Preseason ranking of 3. Talk to us a bit about Gatson.
Well, I think he did have an outstanding year. When you look at over the last 2 years, he hasn't lost a dual meet. So when it's time for the team to step in and perform, he's held up his end, and he's brought home a win every single duel over the last couple of years. So our expectations are high for Kyvan. He didn't have the NCAA tournament we were expecting. He was expecting. I think we started off that tournament a little bit slow in the first round, and we ended it slow. Taking fourth in that tournament. But I think he knows that he has the potential, has the ability, has the skills to win that tournament. So he beat the national champion, one of the few guys. I think the national champion only had 2 losses. A kid out of Missouri. Kyvan was one of those losses at the scuffle last year. So everyone knows. Everyone in the country knows that Kyvan Gatson has the ability to win a national championship. Now it's up to Kyvan to take himself there and just compete to his fullest potential and ability every single match, and we'll live with the results.
Well, the other redshirt senior that comes to mind after talking about Kyvan is Luke Gettle, 49-pound redshirt senior out of Clarkdale, Arizona.
Well, he's got to step up. I mean, Luke's got to wrestle to his true potential and his ability. He's got all the skills. He works hard enough. He trains like a champion. He's being challenged at a very, very high level based on the kids we have in our room. And he just needs to lay it out there when it's match time and wrestle to his full potential. And if he does that, we're going to be happy with Luke. Luke is a smart young man. He's been with us, like you said. This is his 5th year, senior year, so it's your last opportunity to accomplish what you came here to accomplish at the college level, and he's putting in the work. So we're still, I feel like we're ahead of schedule with Luke right now. We're ahead of schedule, I think, with the whole team a little bit. We just have to stay ahead of schedule, keep him healthy, and look forward to the season.
Obviously, we're not going to get to talk about all of them, but one of them. How good can Earl Holtby be?
I think you know that. I mean, I think you've been around wrestling long enough, and I think the people that have studied wrestling can see the potential and see the talent. There's flashes of that. Earl has now connected to the toughness part of our sport. I think it took him a year to transition. People look at him as a sophomore, but you really got to look at him as a true freshman. He came out of the OTC into our program, became our starter. Probably didn't cut his weight or nutrition his weight off the best way he could. But when it came winning time, when he had to win to become an All-American, that's what he did. He won. And he showed the ability. I mean, we were in the quarterfinals, and we were probably a step over of getting to the semifinals of the NCAA championship. We were wrestling the UNI kid and threw him to his back, and the kid kind of muscled off his back, and we didn't get the takedown in overtime. We get that takedown, we're in the semifinals. And so Earl has that kind of potential. He has that kind of ability. Now he's putting in the kind of work that potential and ability should show on the mat. But he does have the skills and the knowledge based on being on the world team, being on the senior circuit for a couple of years, to do some special things here. And I think he knows that now. And I don't know if he knew that last year.
There are 2 names that I'll finish with. One is Leland Weatherspoon.
Yeah, I know those guys had a great time down with you when they came down and did your show. They got pictures on their Twitter page and, pictures in their room. And they had a great time when they all came down and visited you. I think it was Gatson and Earl and Leland.
Yeah.
But Leland's put on the size that we needed him to put on. I don't think he's ever going to look like the big, bulky, the kids like you talked about wrestling the AllStar meet, the kid out of Cornell. I mean, we're not gonna look like that. He's kind of long and lengthy and more athletic, slender build than 84 kilo or 84 pounds are going to look. But he's a pleasure to be around. I mean, he enjoys the process. He's a straight competitor. I think you've seen that from from day one when he stepped on the mat in Hilton Coliseum, all the way through the national championship, and especially at the Big 12 championship where he had to win the tournament to qualify for the NCAA tournament. We still think he would have got a wild card in, but just a pleasure to work with. He's taken on the challenge of getting bigger, stronger, and improving so he can accomplish his goals. He went into that national championship really believing he can win, even though he came up from 174. But Leland is a pleasure to work with, and he's going to continue to improve. And we're excited about him being full-time in our lineup now.
Coach Mike Moreno is a redshirt senior year for him as well out of Urbandale. If he's going to do it, he's going to do it this year. What kind of heat is he packing into his practices?
I can't say enough about Mike Moreno from what he started off doing his freshman year, going 4-17 to the last couple of years being a two-time All-American and being ranked number 3 in the country right now. So this has got to be the year. It's his 5th year. He came here to win a national championship. He's happy being an All-American, but either you're an All-American or you're a national champion, no matter where you place in that tournament. So his goal is to be a national champion. From what I've witnessed this summer, from what I'm witnessing so far this year, he continues to hit that, every now and then you'll hit that match where you just fall into that tunnel. You fall into that flow of just wrestling. It's just, and I see that flow out of him in training. You hit that training, you don't think about how you feel, you don't think about what's going on around you. You're just locked in and you're just focused and you're just training through everything and you're ready for whatever. And he's catching those kind of practices every single day. And those kind of practices allow you to be the best in the country. And he's hitting them. And we're looking for everybody on our team to hit that same type of stride and that same type of tunnel, that focus that's going to allow you to have success.
November 1st is the kickoff to the season with the AllStar Classic at the Palestra in Pennsylvania, in Philadelphia to be exact. Have any of the boys gotten invitations? And if
have not, I just sent an email to the NWCA to ask when those invitations were coming out. We would hope that Gatson and Mike Moreno get an opportunity to compete in that event. So hopefully we'll hear pretty soon. I think it's an outstanding event, having it in the Palestra. We used to have a lot of world team trials in the Palestra when I was competing. So it's a great environment. It's in Pennsylvania, so we should get a great crowd there. I would encourage all kids that get invited to compete in that tournament. We're trying to take our sport to the next level, and so when you have an all-star match, you would want your best wrestlers in the country competing in that thing to showcase what our sport's all about. Our sport needs to continue to grow, and this is one way that wrestlers can help our sport grow.
Coach, as we wind up the interview, you start the season officially anyway, Saturday, November 8th at the always well-populated Harold Nichols Cyclone Open. That's going to be a big day, not just for the Cyclones, but for those that come to wrestle in this Open. It's a tremendous event.
Well, first we're gonna probably take our entire team up to Nyack just to get a preseason early match in, so all the Cyclone fans out there that get a little hungry early will want to see us wrestle. Come up to Mason City and watch us wrestle in the Nyack Open. Obviously, if we get those all-star bids, I'll be taking our kids to the all-star match, but the rest of our team will be in Nyack. But yeah, the Cyclone Open, the Harold Nichols Open, it's always a classic open tournament, one of the best open tournaments that time of year in the country. Minnesota, Iowa, UNI, Nebraska, Wisconsin show up for that event. So it's a strong tournament. And we're going to see where we're at real soon. But we have a great schedule. We come back and wrestle Boise, Utah Valley, teams we've never dueled in a long time anyway. We haven't dueled those teams. Come back and wrestle Michigan State and Central. In Michigan, I get to go home. And then we'll hit Iowa. So preseason is going, or when the season hits, early season is going to be great competition for us. Just getting us ready for what to expect at the NCAA tournament in March. And so, as you can see, we can't wait for that to start happening.
I know, wrestling coaches, wrestlers, and fans, everybody's pumped up for November 1 and on on our March to the Arch in St. Louis. The NCAA Championships will take place this year, March 19th through the 21st in St. Louis, Missouri, that championship city. The Big 12s will be in Ames this year. You play host yet again, and that'll be taking place Saturday, March 7th. Coach, we appreciate you taking the time and the opportunity to talk to the wrestling fans out there. I know that you have a final word for those fans. What would it be?
Well, Scott, thanks for having me. It's always great to get you on campus covering Iowa State wrestling. Our fans, just get ready to be excited. Get ready to see some hot, hardcore wrestling. Looking at our guys taking that next step. We have a group of seniors. We have 3 seniors in their final season that really know and appreciate what they've experienced over the last 5 years. But that's going to come to a head, and come on, support our guys. They love your support, and we appreciate it. And go Cyclones.
Go Cyclones indeed. KJ, it's always good talking with you. Thanks for the time today. And wrestling fans, it's been our pleasure to talk with Kevin Jackson. Absolutely one of the jewels of the wrestling community as a coach and as a friend of this sport. You won't find anyone more true. Kevin, thank you very much. And for everybody, I'm Scott Casper, Takedown Wrestling. Thanks for watching.